Hi everybody, it's me Maria with Nail Nation on Facebook and Nail Nation 3000 here on YouTube. And by request I'm going to do a video about the application prep and the actual application of acrylic nails with tips. So first to do that I'm going to have to remove the acrylic that I already have on, which is fine because I had used some polishes that actually kind of stain and I needed a fill anyway. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how you remove the product correctly first, so that if any of you have any products on, it's the same process to remove acrylic as it is gel. Except for sometimes with gels they recommend their own brand of product remover, but really you can do the same with acetone. So what you'll need is 100% pure acetone, a glass bowl, and you need to put enough in there that will cover your fingertips when you put your hand in this way. Make sure that if you're not familiar with how to do this, that you do not have any jewelry on where the acetone can touch it, because it will tarnish jewelry. I use a metal pusher like this one to get the acrylic off, and you'll need nippers for your cuticles, clippers to clip your fingernails, and you will need an orange wood stick or a pusher to push your cuticles back. So what we're going to do after removing all of your nail polish is you're going to immerse your fingertips in the acetone like this. And you're going to keep them in there without taking them out to check them for a minimum of 10 minutes. The reason you don't want to take it out is because if you take it out, the acrylic will begin to set and harden again, which will make it very difficult to remove the acrylic when you're trying to scrape it off. So I'm going to pause the camera now at this point and come back and show you what the next step is. Okay, so now I have actually soaked for only about 6 or 7 minutes, but I wanted to go ahead and show you what you'll start to see. They will begin to look like this. See how they're kind of gooey looking? That's how they're supposed to look. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of support it, leaving your other nails in the bowl because you don't want them out getting hard again. And you're going to take a metal pusher, and from the cuticle to the free edge, you're going to push with firm force to slide that off. And it's going to come off in kind of sheets. If you're doing it correctly, you're going to get quite a bit of it off. If you're not getting a lot of it off like this, then you really should have stayed in the liquid longer. So you want to go back in. And you just want to go back over the nail a couple of times. And you will have to go back into the acetone for a couple of more minutes. The way you'll know that you've gotten it all is that when you soak in here for the last time for about a minute, you can lift your nails up and you'll see that there's no more of the gummy residue. And if you do, just gently scrape that little bit off. Like this. And if you have a little bit left, like a small area where it's not coming off all the way, in the prep with the nail file, you'll probably remove that anyway. So what you want to do is remove this from your way, and your nails are going to look kind of rough. They're going to look about like this, probably a little bit jagged from scraping off the excess. And what you want to do is take your nail clippers and you want to trim them down depending on your nails and what type of tips you're using. You want to cut off pretty much all the new growth because when you set up the acrylic with a tip, you really want it to have as much of a fresh base as possible so that you don't have that peeling away and cracking of the natural nail underneath. As well as if you work with any kind of chemicals or anything, or if you clean a lot and things like that, you tend to get a little bit of a discoloration of the natural nail. And it's okay that your nails are going to look kind of chalky and kind of dry. We're going to moisturize them at the end of this process. Okay, so we've clipped away all of the excess new growth, and your nails are going to look kind of dry like this. That's just from the acetone. And we're going to move to the next step. Okay, ladies, so now what we're going to do is we're going to clean up around the edges of the nail and just gently file away the excess bits of acrylic. And this is actually going to also serve as your prep if you're putting acrylic on. So here's my thumb. I have not done it yet on that. I did do it on the other 4. So what I do is I take a 180 grit nail file like this one, which is a Creative Nail Design Blizzard board. So you want to use 180 grit whenever you're doing this on natural nails. And you just take a gentle stroke from left to right and right to left to get your free edge straight. And then gently you want to take this with a circular stroke going towards you around the nail and just gently buff away any of your excess acrylic there on your nail. Just gently going to do this until the surface of your nail looks smooth. Then you're going to take a little bit of your nail cleanser, which I use the Scrub Fresh, which is here. And it's actually alcohol based, so you can also cleanse your nails with alcohol on white for picking out the tips that fit our nails. And I also like to use the Velocity tips by Creative Nail Design. And as you can see, they have a number. So what you want to do is know your numbers so that you can have a quicker application process. So you're going to start with the smallest and work your way up. So you're going to start with the smallest and work your way up, and you just want to fit it to the nail first. You may not have an exact fit right away. It is better to pick a nail that's slightly larger than smaller for your nail so that you can file it down to size, because if it's too small, it's not going to cover your sidewalls correctly, and that's going to cause a problem for lifting. Okay, so now that we've picked our tips out, we're going to shape them to fit our nails. So what you want to do is you want to check and see if it fits with its well, which is this little groove inside here. If the well fits sitting firmly on the tip of your nail and press down, does the well fit in your nail and the sides don't come off onto the skin area like this? So what you want to do when they do come over just a little bit is take your nail file and just very gently take away a small portion of that sidewall off of the tip. And you can always go back and do more, but don't do too much. You want to test that again, just like this. And see how it fits now? Fits much better. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to do this with each of the tips, and then I'm going to show you how to apply them. Okay, now that we have shaped our tips that we have selected for our nails, we are going to apply them like this, and they're not going to stay this long. I'm going to show you how we apply it. First I applied a small amount of Bond-Aid by OPI, which is simply a nail dehydrator and pH balancing agent, just like this. And you'll know it's dry when your nail goes back to that chalky white color. You're going to take a really good bonding nail glue. Don't use crazy glue. It has things in it that are just not so great for your nail. I use ultra fast nail glue by 5 Second. It's a IBD product. And you want to apply a nice liberal amount to the well of the tip like this. And then if you have any excess, just do this to your paper towel and it will drop it off. And right at your free edge, you're going to gently and firmly roll that tip downward so that it sticks like this. And with this nail glue, it's pretty instant, so there's no room for error. Really be sure that you put this on very, very carefully. And so now what we're going to do is cut those down to an appropriate length, and I use these tip cutters. You can get these at Sally's. This one's about $49. There are cheaper ones. The blade just doesn't last quite as long, and the spring isn't quite as strong, but you don't have to have expensive tip cutters. You're going to gently insert the tip into the blade guide, and you want to make sure that it's firmly planted there, and then you're just going to do this, and it's going to pop that tip right away. And if you want them a little shorter, you can just push in just a little further and cut them again. And honestly, this should only take you a few seconds really to cut them all once you get used to doing it. And be careful, ladies, because this does cause the tips to pop and they kind of springboard off of your nail there a little bit. And if you want them longer, just don't go as close to your free edge. And then they're going to be as short as you wanted them to be. And then what we're going to do is just shape these a little bit. So what you want to do is go along the sides. And some of your tips where you shape them may be a little crooked on the side. That's okay, because here's where you make it straight. And you just want to bring it up to the side so that it matches the side of your nail, nothing hanging over. And then these you can actually file back and forth because these tips are not your natural nail. So you're not really going to damage them unless you're using really cheap really cheap thin tips. Some of the cheaper ones are really strong. I really recommend those. The super thin ones are going to give you a little bit of trouble in this stage. So you're going to shape it like this, and then the next step after shaping it is going to be gently take away the shiny off of the tip, and it will also make that free edge where it glued to your nail smooth. And just gently do that. You don't have to press real hard. And if you're using 180 grit nail file, it's just the right strength. And it'll be just like this. And then you're going to clean that off again with some Scrub Fresh or nail cleanser, whatever you're using. And it's going to look like this. So we're going to do that to the other 4 nails and we'll come back for application.